The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. So hard to believe there's only 3 days left in the year. No, is that not right? No, let me see. We got, yeah, pretty close. See, 27, 28, 29, 30, about 4 days. Boy, then we have 2018. My goodness. All right, we're going to start the show here by looking at the DAX on a 4-hour chart. This gives you a lot of information, folks. As you can see, it goes way back into November. And we've had some lower tops and we've had some higher bottoms. So we've been in this really tight triangle here in the DAX, which we're continuing to do. But as you can see from the chart, there is a possibility that we could be looking at a bias to the downside. Primarily, the reason for that is that the markets are slowing down as far as volatility-wise. That's the same thing happening across the pond, and so we'll watch it very, very closely. You know, we really never closed much above 13,500 very often. We're still trading right near that level right now, 13,100. So it really hasn't, you know, done very much. And we'll see what. Yeah, I have to use all my fingers and toes when I do the counting. But we have just two more days besides today for the. You know, for the TFNN show. I won't be here on Friday. That's the old medical stuff where you got to, you know, have your exams and stuff. So I will not be here on Friday, but I'll be here on the first day of the year, of course, and which will, I believe, be the second. And that's when we have these really strong astro points that Norm Winsky, who will be our guest tomorrow, will talk to us about. I believe today we're trying to get in touch with John Jameson from the Jameson Letter to talk to us a little bit about some things that are going on with Bitcoin. And as you can see, you know, Bitcoin is really getting into the news now. It's doing a great deal. I believe we're trading around 15,300 the last time I checked. What happened last night in Bitcoin, folks, is that we actually made a perfect, I mean, spot on, 61% retracement from the high we made at 19,000 and change. We dropped down to almost 11,000, and then we rallied back exactly to 61% retracement. I was looking at it on the Bitcoin and also with Bitstamp, and to me it hit it spot on. So the real key to this is going to be if we take out that low that we made earlier in the week, and I'll bring this up to show you folks because you'll be able to see it a little bit better, then you're going to have a really big move to the downside. There you can see the high in the Bitstamp was 16,200, and when I believe we're trading 1,000 points below that right now at 15,000. Well, no. 16,200. Yeah, 15,100. But my numbers are a little slow today, but that's what we're looking at. Bitcoin is trading at 15,840. Okay, so it's still up in that area, but I believe the high on that rally was 16,200. That's what I showed. I don't know if that's correct or not. Marshall, if you'd be so kind as to check that for me. And also, have you guys got any snow up there on the old Oregon River? If you have any questions, folks, it's 877-927-6648, and I'll be happy to answer them if I possibly can. So we'll keep a close look. Oh, we got snow in Oregon. Boy, oh boy, I think that's pretty strange, but there's a lot of it going on. But no snow here in the Pueblo in Tucson. We're going to have a beautiful day of about 75 degrees. It's about 45 degrees last night, which in the desert is pretty chilly. Okay, we want to move on. I want to talk a little bit about a market that we were very interested in yesterday, and that is the gold market, folks. We have now taken out we've hit the 1290 level in the gold. I really felt that 1287 was going to be, a very substantial top. We've now been up 11 days in a row, and I want to be buying this on any pullback. It looks like this thing really has legs, and even though the volume is very light this time of the year, it's still going higher. Nobody's standing in front of it, so when we do get the correction, we want to watch this very, very closely, for a potential buy in gold, because it certainly has all of the earmarks of something that wants to go, a lot higher. That's one of the problems that you have, when you're trading, folks, is when you get out of a position because you're either taking profits or it's reached your objectives, you always have that adage. But the old market laws on this is that it's much better to be out of a market wishing you were in than in a market wishing you were out. So that's what we're looking at right here. So please keep that in mind as you're looking at some of these things going forward. Okay, now we looked at the gold. Now the platinum. The platinum has finally had a good move to the upside. It has broken above that level that we were looking at. That was something that we really needed to have happen. That was very, very positive. Okay, now the question someone's asking me is, where do I get back into gold? That's what the $64 question is, Tucker. And the reason why is I don't buy breakouts. It's only what, $3 away from, where we got out. And so what I'm looking for is to see the first retracement. Ideally, it would be a 382 retracement of this whole $50-some move that would take you back down to about the 1260. Let me see. Yeah, somewhere around the 1269, 1270 level. That's what I would be, what I'd like to be doing. Now, I'd like not to do that on the first day. I would love to see this on a nice little, 1 second, please, on a really nice 3-day correction. Then I have a really good place, to use a very, very small stop. That's why the buy down there at that $1,239 was so important, because it was very quiet. We'd made lower lows 3 days in a row by about $1, and that was certainly not a cascading market to the downside, and we had 4 ratios there, and that's what made it easier. Right now there's a big unknown, because I don't know when the correction is going to come and if the correction is going to come. Hey, if you go back and look at some of these other moves on that chart I posted in gold, they had very, very few corrections. And so I'm watching it very, very closely. Most probably, if we get above the 1291 level, what I'm going to try to do is to just re-enter at the level that I got out at, which is 1286. And then I have to get back in, and I have to use a little bit longer, a little bit wider stop. But I'm still, 3,800 to the good on the position. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. The other part is this holiday season here. Things are a little bit slow, and so we have to be able to, factor that in also. 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. dollar. But first, someone's asked a question about Los Angeles, and that is, what is this Institute for Metaphysics? Well, actually, it's a philosophical institute. It's up on the top of Mulholland Boulevard in L.A. That's a place that was just burning down just recently. It was just fine, but it was started by Manly Hall back in the 20s. And if any of you have ever seen my webinars, you'll see this big picture of Pythagoras. That's actually, it's about life size is what it is, and was painted by Augustus Knapp in 1929. But the Institute itself has just all kinds of books on just about every type of religion and philosophical idea that has ever been placed. Manly Hall was born with a platinum spoon in his mouth. His mother self-taught him, and he helped collect all this art, and it's really a spectacular place. They have a library there, of course. You can't take anything out, but you can read it there. But they do have some books to sell, especially Manly Hall's book, The Secret Teachings of the Ages. It comes in 3 varieties. It comes in a soft cover that runs about $65. It comes in a hard cover that runs about around 150, 150 to 175, and then they have the rare one, which is leather bound. I happen to be able to buy that way back in 1992, and actually I had Manly Hall sign that. I used to go down and listen to him speak. But if you ever want to see any movie stars in Los Angeles, that's where you should go, because they go there all the time looking at different things, and you'll see some stars there, that if there is such a thing as a star anymore. But it's a great place for information. They have a website too, I believe, and you can look at some of the things that they have. But he spent his whole life studying the reasons for living, and that's really what it's really all about. Okay, that's the answer to that question. The next question we had is about the U.S. dollar. I posted the chart at this U.S. dollar. You're right, Marshall, it has completed the ABCD, and we are sitting right at this really strong support at 93. This is the 4th day we've been here right now. This is about as nice as technical chart as you can possibly have for looking at something, because you have the head and shoulders pattern, just perfectly set up. All the ratios are spot on. It's just everything that you could possibly ask for. But if we go below this 92.70 level, or 92.60, say, and we're at 9300 right now, you're looking at a market this pattern is going to fail, and you're going to go down and make another leg down on this, which will be near that old low that we had way back there, several months ago. So it's important to hold that up. What's interesting about this U.S. dollar chart is the fact that if you look at that green line, that is the U.S. Treasury notes, the 10-year notes, and as you can see, the notes have been, rising in interest rates. We hit 2.5% this week, on last week, and then the last 2 days we've had a little bit of a rally. We're having about unchanged so far today, but we did complete our first ABCD pattern on a shorter term chart, on a half-hour chart, with the Treasury bonds right near that 152 level. Completed an ABCD pattern, and if it's bearish, you're going to start down, more. Long term, folks, these things look extremely bearish. I don't want to go over it again because, it's the same thing that we've said all along. It just keeps, rates keep going higher, and they topped a long time ago. So what the Federal Reserve has been doing is with these interest rates has been, this quantitative easing has put a lot of people in confusion, including me and a whole lot of other people. Someone's asking a question here. Where's resistance on these March bonds? It should be at the very most 152.05, Mr. Z. That's what I would say. It should not get much above that old low. Oh, that's where the old low was, if it's correct. But it's so oversold that you could easily get a 2-week rally out of here because we've been dropping like a rock here. Interest rates have been spiraling. The LIBOR rate, the London Interbank Overnight Rate, went up 20 days in a row. I don't think that's ever happened in modern times. I don't know the statistics on it, but that's very, very unusual. That means rates are going higher. So we are oversold, but how much we're going to rally, I'm not sure. But what I would do is to watch that Treasury bond with this ABCD pattern that I believe it completes at around I think it's a 151.30 or something like that, as I recall. Then you'll have a better chance of entering a short position on the in the bonds. So the best way to be in this market is just to be short from a higher level. And as you recall, we were looking at that 154, 155 level, and we broke down, quite a bit from that level. So just a 38% retracement back would take you to about that 152 level. So, and the notes, they have a really a very interesting pattern from, let's just put up we'll put up the daily Treasury note so you can take a look at it here, because this is why we could be looking at a rally here in these darn things, because we almost hit that exact 1.618 level on Monday. We haven't, but the notes have not rallied much either. So that's telling us that maybe this has still got more to go to the downside. But we are extremely oversold, folks. Since September 15th, we've been dropping pretty dramatically. We've had a couple of 5-day rallies in here, and then we had a 10-day rally in late October into November the 7th. And then we had another consolidation area between the 13th and the 27th for 2 weeks. We went sideways, and that's 125 in the notes. That was equivalent to that 154 in the Treasury bond. So that's what I'm looking at. So I think we're ready to, continue the rally, but this little ABCD that we've had happen tells us that we're pretty much, looking at something that could be, very, very interesting, at least from a shorter term standpoint. We did hit 152.05 this morning, I see. That does complete it. Yes, it does. And if we get above the 152.05, and that was the high so far this morning, we're probably going to go higher and continue this rally. That's the way it would look. That's the way it would look to me. We have another question about the gold. Nothing's really happening different in gold, folks. We're trading around 1289.30 here in the gold, and it tells us that we should be looking at something that would be beginning to tell us that we should be, starting to go lower. But in fact, that hasn't happened as of yet, and we'll wait to see if it does. The stock market. Oh, we got coming up to the break here. We'll cover the stocks here in just a little bit, and we'll try to move on during these times when the market is, relatively thin. So let's keep our powder dry for right now and see what's happening. But the notes and the bonds are starting to show that bottom, because we've rallied well over one handle now. We've rallied almost 50, right? No, we've rallied more than a handle. Yeah, because we're low as 50.18 and we're rallied a handle and a half. So if we get above the 52.10 level, we're probably going to rally some more. But longer term, it's still very, very bearish, in my opinion. There's no other way you can look at it. I think we're going to take a break now. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks. I'm unable to connect with John Jameson from the Jameson Letter. This morning we'll have him on again right after the first of the year. I believe that's when he's bringing out his Jameson Letter, where he's going to be talking about Bitcoin and blockchain, technology. That's really what it's really all about. And I understand very little of it, but I'm trying to learn little bits and pieces and watching some of these things trade. The open interest on the CME and also on the CBOE is very, very small. I mean, it's like 700 points. I think we've got John on the line now, possibly. We'll have him call in on Skype. Let me see here. I will give him a number. Just give me 1 second here, and I will get this working here. Let me see if I can do it without messing it up. 727-446. Okay, hopefully we'll get him on here and talk to him a little about this. You have to admit, folks, the news on the Bitcoin, it's actually surpassing Apple, and I didn't think that could possibly happen. But anyway, I posted a chart of Tesla in here. As you can see, we made this big double top back in September at the 388 level. We went right down and stopped right at the 61% retracement. I think we hit it 7 times over a 2-month period, and then we had a pretty good rally that stopped at a 1.618 expansion and a 50% retracement. That was a Gartley, and now we're starting to move lower. This will be bearish unless we take out the 350 level, and then that would tell us that we're probably going to go a little bit higher. This stock is in the news quite a bit. We heard today that they're going to be coming out with a pickup truck. Well, I want to give Mr. Musk a little bit of advice. I don't think anybody that drives a pickup truck worries about whether there's making noise when you drive and stuff like that. I would really be skeptical if a Tesla pickup truck worked. That's just from knowing my years, living in Indiana and, some of the car shows that we go to, the Barrett Jackson shows coming up here in January in Scottsdale. And believe me, they like the noise in the cars. But anyway, that's it. We'll just leave that on. So we'll keep looking ahead here. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention today from one of our listeners was about this this Australian dollar. And I wanted to bring this up here because we're approaching now the 78 level. We're very, very close to that. So we want to be watching it very, very, very closely because here again, it's just like in the gold market. We've been up like 10 days in a row where we have higher highs or higher lows. And so we're watching to see when the correction is going to come. If you'll take a moment and look at last June, you'll see we had one of those runs where it went 2 weeks. Then it backed off to a 382 retracement right at after 5 days down at a 382 retracement. Oh my gosh, if you get those kind, folks, that's Mother God and country. That tells you that you've got something that is really in a strong trend, and you want to be watching it quite closely. So keep an eye on that. Yes, regarding the cattle have certainly held us. Put up the cattle chart because we've been pretty friendly to the cattle, and they're acting very nicely. We'll just get this up here. I'll put up the chart. This is what we were looking at as of Friday. That's when we were looking to buying those. We're now trading up around the 122 level already in February cattle, and we're seeing the same type of move in the feeder cattle that we looked at. So those are pretty good. Now, those have a really strong probability to look at, a seasonal during this time of the year, where right after the first of the year, you usually get a rally in cattle. That's just a normal seasonal tendency that happens, but it certainly started nicely, and it was very strong coming out of here, much like we had, in the soybeans. The soybeans have also, they're up 12 cents from their low that we made on Friday, which was, of course, an exact 61% retracement. Let's get that up here so you can, a 78% retracement. You'll get up and be able to see this without too much trouble. And now we're trading up around, we're up 15 cents already. We're trading up in the 965 level already in the Jan bean. So that's another positive one that looks good, could be making some points. We've been watching some things, for the first of the year coming in. In fact, Mr. Z yesterday, talked about cocoa, and cocoa is completing a big ABCD on the monthly chart. And that's another one that it's going to be interesting. That completes at around, I believe, 117.50. The low so far has been 118.10. So we're getting pretty close on some of these things to being, pretty much spot on as we're looking at it. Someone asked a question about what was the funniest thing that ever happened to me at Drexel. My 5 years there, folks, was 76. Yeah, 6 years there were about as much fun as about anything you could have. But it was a place to work. I mean, we really did business there. I got there at by 5:45. The markets didn't open. Treasury bonds opened at 6 o'clock back in those days, and they didn't start trading until 76, right after I got there. We had no stock indices. The gold and stuff started around 6, which is 9 o'clock at New York time. So we were busy all during the day, so there weren't a lot of fun things. It was a wonderful place to work. You had really great people. There were 23 brokers in our office on the downstairs floor, and there was myself and 20 men and 2 other commodity brokers. Well, actually, 1 other commodity brokers that made up the commodity department, and we were in the back part of the office because no one ever came back there except for coffee, and so we were the ones that ran the back part. But at the front part of the office is where things would happen when movie stars would come in. Sometimes a movie star coming in would really be a big thing, like when Bob Hope would come in. That would really be a big thing, but most of the time they were walking in and out of there all the time, so you didn't really pay any attention. It was just, it's not a big deal. They're just normal. Well, I don't know if they're normal or not, but they're normal people just like everybody else. Folks, we've got a market that's really breaking out big time this morning or yesterday that we talked about it, and that was the if you'll take a look at this heating oil, we had a big wide range day yesterday. We're approaching the $60 a barrel level in the spot crude oil right now again. That might be a small amount of resistance up here, but it's going to be real interesting to watch it because of the fact that it is at a very, very critical level that we've looked at before. I think we have John on the line. John, are you there?
I am, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning. We've got to take a little break here to pay a few bills, and then we get back. I have some questions here from some of our listeners about what's going on in the Bitcoin market. So would you be able to stay with us and talk about it in just a few minutes?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm on holiday. I'm on holiday broadband, but that being stable, I'll be right here. So I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. That's good. Now, when are you going to launch your new letter, the Jameson letter?
That'll be in the second week of January.
Oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to pay a few bills, and we'll be right back with John Jameson of the Jameson letter. Thanks, John.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with John Jameson, who happens to know a little bit about, well, that's the understatement of the year, about this blockchain technology. John, the very first question that we have is, what is the difference between a cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology?
Okay, that's a great question. Blockchain, think about it this way. The easiest way to think about it is this. Blockchain technology is the underlying set of rules, if you will, that coins use. Okay, that's the easiest way of thinking about it. So, for example, different coins have use different types of blockchain, and each type of blockchain has its own USP, if you like. One of the easiest ways of thinking about it is to just ask the simple question: what problem does this coin solve? So, for example, with Bitcoin, the problem that Bitcoin is trying to solve is it's a store of value. Now, of course, just like markets, there are people who have different opinions on what that coin is supposed to do. Was Bitcoin designed as a usable currency? So, for example, you walk into Macca's or Starbucks and you buy coffee with it, or is it designed to be like gold? Is it designed for you to be able to store, some of your wealth in a way that can't be manipulated by a centralized, trusted authority or untrusted authority? So that's the key. So the way to think about it is this: a blockchain is the protocol or the set of rules that allow the movement or the transactions to happen with these coins, and each coin. Generally, each coin has its own blockchain technology, and each blockchain technology has its own advantage and disadvantage. So I hope that answers the question.
It sure does, but the ease of entry into this technology is quite extensive, isn't it? Don't you have to have, hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s worth of computer and the energy to run it and stuff? Is that correct?
Well, now. In the case of Bitcoin, yes. Let me just qualify that question is actually quite broad. But let me just use Bitcoin to be able to answer that question. And if I start going off down a track that's confusing or not understandable, please interrupt me. So what you have with Bitcoin is when it first got launched, it's an algorithm. So when it first got launched, it was quite easy to be able to generate or mine a Bitcoin using your home computer, using the graphics card in a home computer. But built into the algorithm of Bitcoin, there is a level of difficulty. So as more blocks of Bitcoin are discovered, then it becomes progressively harder to mine the next block. So as time has gone by, the computing power necessary to compete with other people trying to uncover the next block has increased. And so therefore the expense of the kit that you need to be able to mine a Bitcoin has also increased. And so it's moved from literally a hobbyist who could literally string a few computers together in a home office into stringing an array of computers together in a garage into a fully commercialized operation, which requires tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment. Because uncovering a block on the blockchain now requires a lot of energy and a lot of computing power, which you may have read about. So does that answer the question?
It sure does. Now, the other question we've had is why they don't know who this guy, Satoshi Nakamura, whatever his name is.
Satoshi Nakamoto, yeah.
Yeah, how is it that someone that's developed something that seems to be very useful has not come forward and say, yes, it's me? How could this be, some people think it's the NSA doing this. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it wouldn't surprise me, Steve, honest to goodness. The NSA is a national security of the United States, so what's your opinion on who this guy is, John?
Well, who says it's an individual?
Oh, that's right. That's
so like you said, it's the NSA.
Yeah.
Who says
Yeah.
Satoshi Nakamoto is an individual?
Yeah.
He or she may be, but it may also be an organization.
Yeah.
So it's the white paper on Bitcoin, written in 2008, released 2009, is open source software. So it's an open source algorithm. And so the question is what was Bitcoin designed to do? Was it designed to just be a usable currency, or was it designed for you to be able to have a store of value that can't be manipulated by a centralized government? And that's the big argument. What is Bitcoin? Now, because Bitcoin has a finite amount of coins available built into the algorithm, which is at 21 million, then my opinion, and it is my opinion, is that Bitcoin is a store of value. And so the whole point of how I think of Bitcoin against the other coins is it is a store of value because it's relatively rare. And you and I have discussed other rare assets in the past as well, things like art, and the value and how value can go way, way, way above what you would normally think it would do.
Now we have another question here about the cost of getting in. I understand the transaction costs on these cryptocurrencies has increased a great deal over the past month. Can you explain to us what's going on there?
Yeah, that's a very good point. What's been happening over the last few months is is twofold. First of all, I'm not sure if your listenership is mainly in the States, then U.S. citizens are being literally asked to leave various exchanges. Bitfinex, for example, now no longer does business with U.S. citizens, and the main process of getting your money out of fiat currency and into a crypto token or a crypto coin is now has the following expenses associated with it. First of all, most of the exchanges, not all, but most of the exchanges, certainly the most trustworthy ones for U.S. citizens, are things like Gemini or Coinbase. But the spreads that those particular companies are adding to the price of Bitcoin are really quite outrageous. You're paying $1,000. For example, Bitcoin was trading at, I think it was about 18,600 just before Christmas. I think I noticed on one of the exchanges, I think it was Coinbase, that it was at least over $1,200 at the buy price from spot. If you want to think of it as a spot price, it was $1,200 above and below the spot price to buy and sell on Coinbase, which is extremely rich. And the second thing is once you have your money on an exchange, then typically the coins that you can buy on the exchange that you actually swap your fiat currency for tend to be limited to the big coins, for example, like Bitcoin itself, Ethereum, a Litecoin, maybe Bitcoin Cash, and a few others. But if you want to go into some of the other cryptocurrencies and tokens, then you have to transfer your Bitcoin to another exchange so you can trade your Bitcoin for that alternative currency. And that's where the transaction costs have gone up astronomically as well.
John, thanks for joining us today, my friend, and we'll have you on right after the first of the year, and I want to wish you and your family a very happy new year.
That's great. All the best to you as well, Larry. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
All the best. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. John Jameson of the Jameson Letter, and we'll be right back after these few words.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and just as a reminder, we're going to have Norm Winsky from Astro Trend on tomorrow. And Friday, I won't be here. So I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, but I'll wish everybody a Happy New Year tomorrow also. So, and try to do something good for somebody over the holidays that doesn't have very much, because a lot of people are certainly in those straits. Regarding someone keeps asking the question about where do we get back in the gold. I think we just have to wait. I mean, this is a tough call to do, to get out of a position. In fact, one of the things that is on my little painting, well, it's not a little painting, but this oil painting behind me says, you know, when in doubt, stay out. And so I'm not complaining. You know, we bought it right. I thought we sold it okay. It's now trading $3 higher than where I got out. So I'm going to be watching it very, very closely here. The ideal situation, folks, is if we get a 382 retracement over a 3 to 5 day period in the gold. Ideally, if that could start today, then work into Tuesday or Wednesday, that would be an ideal situation to have a very low risk entry point into the gold market. So that's what I'm looking at. As far as the stock market, I don't see any particular reason to go short here. I don't believe anybody would be selling stocks till after the first of the year, so the taxes would be deferred into 2019. So I'd keep a close eye on that one. The dollar index, if we get below the 92.70 level, that's going to be very, very negative to the dollar and very positive to the euro. So those are just some of the things that we're going to keep an eye on as we look at the markets over these next trading days during the holiday. And I believe there's a shortened session on Friday on the New York Stock Exchange. They're shortening it by several hours, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll have that answer for you either today or tomorrow. But that's what they usually do, is cut back 2 hours on the last day of the year. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!